Jaylen Green is 9th all time in 30-point games for players 21 and under. 9th all time. 9th all time. But some would say, well, he's just shot trucking, so who cares? Jaylen Green is 3rd all time in 30-point games on 70% true shooting or higher, behind only LeBron and KD. 3rd all time. But then you say 70% true shooting is just outlier. Like 70% true shooting is historic efficiency. Jaylen Green is 5th all time in 30-point games on 65% true shooting or higher, which is just good efficiency. 5th all time behind only KD, LeBron, Shaq, and I think Luka. 5th all time. But then let me just go down. He is 9th all time in 40-point games for players 21 and under. He is 6th all time in 40-point games on 60% true shooting or higher, which is a pretty good efficiency. 6th all time. He is 5th in 40-point games on 65% true shooting or higher. And he is 4th in 40-point games on 70% true shooting or higher. He is 12th.
Where's the lie?
He is 12th all time in 25-point games for players 21 and under. And he has the most 25-point games on 70% true shooting or higher of any player 21 and under. The most of all time. More than anyone you can think of. LeBron James, more. KD, more. Shaq, more. Luka, more. And Edwards, more. More than all of them. But someone wanted to tell me he couldn't score. Jaylen Green is one of the best young scorers we have ever seen, and people gave up on him because he had a stretch where he couldn't make shots he can make. Jaylen Green can score the basketball.
Come on, Marz.
Don't tell me Jaylen Green cannot score the basketball. If there's one thing he can do, it's score the basketball.
And paint his nails.
Now, I will say he has improved as a playmaker recently. That is what blew my mind. I seen him make a skip pass out of the pick and roll. I had never seen that in his whole career. He made a skip pass. Now, Jabari Smith missed the shot, but he made a skip pass. I've seen him make lay down passes. He wasn't making lay down passes. He's hitting cutters. He wasn't hitting cutters before.
Shout out, Ime.
Playing defense. He wasn't playing defense before.
Shout out, Ime. Shout out, Ime.
I'm sorry. There's no way you can tell me. And the worst thing, Houston were considering trading him. What? Oh my God, man. Dub, go ahead and tell me why you think Jaylen Green isn't very good.
Shut up.
Oh, Marz, you nasty.
No.
Shut up.
Go ahead, tell me. Because you made the title, Jaylen Green is a bust. Go ahead and tell me Jaylen Green is a bust.
Why do you say that?
Go ahead and tell me.
God.
Can we take out this 5-game sample size and then talk about it?
Can we please take out this 5-game sample size?
Sure. Take out the 5-game sample size and explain to me how he would still be top 15 in 30-point games for players 21.
This guy's insane.
Would still be top 10 in 30-point games on elite efficiency, and would still be top 10 all time in 40-point games. So go ahead.
Perfect answer. Air attacks.
Air attacks how?
This is the era where there's way more ample opportunity to be a highly efficient scorer.
Oh, so explain to me how he has more of those games than Anthony Edwards and Luka Doncic and Trae Young.
These are great rebuttals, though. I'm not gonna lie. These are great rebuttals.
I knew someone was gonna say air attacks. I knew it. So explain how he has more than Luka, Trae Young, and Edwards, Kyrie, whoever you want to come up with. Explain it to me.
No, all you gotta do is plead the fifth. Just plead the fifth. That's all you gotta do.
Free throws.
This thing is still going.
Free throws. You guys ain't gonna tell me that Jaylen Green can't.
Nah, you can't win the stat battle with Marz, bro.
He had a stretch of 9 games where he looked like Killian Hayes on the basketball court. Cool. I can concede that. That 9-game stretch in like December, early January, cool. No one is gonna argue with that. But the stuff I was hearing about Jaylen Green, trade him, bust, can't play basketball. Ooh, nonsense. Everyone in the chat. Oh, Marz, what happened with Jaylen Green? You was wrong about Jaylen Green. Jaylen Green
5 games is
trade Jaylen Green. Shut up.
Yo, you kind of gave him ammo for this. To be honest, I'm being real.
Wait. Are some of these 5 games? Are the stats that you just gave?
None of the 40-point games have come from the 5 games recently. None of them.
Yeah,
So he's still 9 full-time. He's still top 5 in efficient 40-point games with or without the last 5 games. He would not have the most 25-point games on 70% true shooting without these 5 games. He would instead be third all time before this 5 games. I checked. He would be third.
He would not nuts, yo.
Wait, he would not be tops. Wait, let me just check. He would not be third in 30-point games on 70% true shooting. He would instead be fourth. He would not be fifth in 30-point games on 65% true shooting. He would instead be joint fifth. Cool. He would not be what else? He would not be 12th in 25-point games. He would be 14th. Cool. So he would still be one of the best young scorers we have ever seen. And he is not 22 until next week. So who knows? There might be a couple more 30-point games. We play Toronto. Now we play the Timberwolves soon. I'm anticipating a 12-point performance. And I will not be able to talk about Jalen Green after we play the Timberwolves. But after that, I think Jalen Green has.
What if he cooks the Timberwolves, though?
Oh, I'm going to be unbearable. I'm going to be unbearable. If he outplays and cooks Rudy Gobert in that paint, oh, you don't want to see me on Open Gym. You don't want to see me. I'm going to be obnoxious. If you think this is obnoxious, wait till you see the stats. I'm going to pull out my sleeve. Wait.
This is insane. Yeah.
He ahead of MJ on all of these lists, by the way. All of them. All these people were 9th, 5th, 3rd, ahead of MJ on all of them. Now, is it because MJ only played about 4 months before he turned 22? Yes. But that's not the point. I said he's done more in the NBA as a 21-year-old. Statistically, he has. I was still right. So, sharp. And you can say Jalen Green's not close to a top scorer. So explain to me why there's no scorers his age doing the things he's done, and the only ones who have are all-time great scorers. Explain it to me.
I guess
wait, Luka really isn't there in those stats?
Luka's ahead of him in some. Jalen Green's ahead of Luka in the others. Anthony Edwards is ahead of Luka, and I think ahead of Jalen Green in about 1 or 2 of them. Another person who we consider a great young scorer. KD is ahead of Jalen Green in if Jalen Green isn't first, KD's ahead of him, and I'm fine with that. If Jalen Green isn't top 3, LeBron James is ahead of him. Cool. So KD, LeBron, and Shaq are the 3 that were ahead of him in most of. If Jalen Green's like 4th or 5th, KD, LeBron, and Shaq are the 3 ahead of him, and then the other one would be Luka. That's the company he's in terms of scoring the basketball.
So he's
what about Booker? What about Booker?
No, he's ahead of Devin Booker in every single one of them, except I think 30-point games period. He's ahead of.
So he's gonna be better than Booker then. That's facts.
Every single one of them, he's ahead of him. Every single one. And so Devin Booker was on a trash team too. So it's not like Jalen Green just putting up shots on a bad team. Because why is Devin Booker not finishing ahead of Jalen Green on these lists?
So call
Devin
it now.
Booker came in as one of the youngest players in the league. Devin Booker played 3 seasons before he was 22. So explain it to me.
Marz, call it now. He's a Hall of Famer. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer. Call it now.
I want to ask you this, Marz.
Easy.
Can you look up stats on how bad he's been performing as well?
I knew you would do that.
Damn.
I knew. Here's the thing. I knew that someone would bring up, well, what about the games where he's inefficient? Cool, let's do that. Jalen Green has shot below. Jalen Green has shot below 40% from the field in about 30% of his games before 22.
Okay.
Anthony Edwards before the age of 22.
Hey.
About 30% of his games. Devin Booker before turning 22. About 30% of his games. Donovan Mitchell before turning 22. About 30% of his games. Any young scorer at the guard position you can think of is the same percentage as Jalen Green. The only people who weren't doing it were the wings and the bigs. Jalen Green as a guard is scoring better at high volume than every guard you can think of, his size or smaller, and is scoring more efficiently than any guard you can think of, his size or smaller. The only people who did better than him from an efficiency standpoint consistently was the wings and the bigs. I checked. I was like, what about the games where he's 5 for 17? Unfortunately, Anthony Edwards want to go 4 for 16, 25% of the time. So, Jalen Green still wins.
It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. Yeah, the player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.